Hi everyone, good morning. Thanks for joining. So today is day 4 and we are going to cover some of the remaining requirement gathering techniques. Okay, give me a second. So I am going to, so the first one we are going to start with the Moscow technique. Moscow is nothing but must have, should have, and then could have and wouldn't have. Okay, so let's go to this technique. Okay, so what is Moscow technique? So if you see here, this is a prioritization technique or requirement gathering also you can use for both. So during gathering requirements, right, you need to know what are the requirements that is like non-negotiable, and it's very important. It's a must have. And then we have what are the requirements, what are the features that is like should have. Should have means it is important, but it is not like essential. Okay, essential in the sense like non-negotiable is must have. Should have means it's important, but it is not like essential. Could have means it is nice to have these features, but there will be a very small impact if we don't do it. And will not have is nothing but these are the requirements that is not a priority at all. Okay, so what is must have requirements? Must have, sorry about that. Um, so must have requirements are nothing, but these are very vital requirements, and you have to finish this task. And if you don't finish these features, you cannot proceed. For example, like I said about yesterday's Bank of America project, right? In order for the OCR process to take place, the member must be already a registered member. The members should download the mobile application. Member must be able to log in using a username and password, then only scan the check, and then may be able to and the OCR process will be able to pull the extract the data from the check, paper check, and convert into a digital money, right? But so for that feature, okay, what are the must-haves? Must-haves is the member has to have a mobile app, okay? And then must-have is like they should have a valid member ID and a password. And so this is not a new user, this is an existing user. So that feature is for an existing user. If there is a new user for Bank of America, they have to make sure that they register, they get a login and a password, and then they have to like download, they need to have a smartphone. So like for example, like iPhone, there will be a different a mobile app, and for other phones we are going to have a different app. So they have to like make sure what type of phone they have, accordingly they have to like download the mobile app of Bank of America, and then they have to proceed that process. So must have is like without this, without a proper username and password, without downloading the mobile application, this I mean that particular feature cannot be done. So those requirements are must haves. It needs to be an existing member, the member needs to be registered, member needs to have a username and password, and member needs to have the mobile application downloaded. These are must have requirements. Should have requirements means some of the task uh, like for example, like this is nice to have, but this is not essential. So once they log in, once they log in, now we are telling like once they scan the process, right, like for example they scan the paper, it is nice to get only the member, for example member ID is enough, but in order to produce like various different validations, you're going to check whether the account number is correct or if the handwriting is correct, account number is correct, or if some validation is correct, right? So these are requirements for should have. Some can be, it's okay if during the OCR process, if the handwriting is like a total mismatch, then we cannot proceed. But if the handwriting is mostly all the optical character recognition technology, right, they'll be able to identify the handwriting. But if they are not, then what those are called as fallout requirements. Fallout in the sense, like for example, in the OCR process, if I am okay, so if during the OCR process, during scanning the paper checks, if suppose in case the system is not able to identify due to a bad handwriting, Okay, they're getting the member first name, last name. Like for example, I write $100. Okay, and numbers also I put $100. But my handwriting is not like good. It's when the OCR process is not able to capture the handwriting, then what should it do? It's called as fallout. No, it should throw an error. What kind of error? Like please rescan properly, or this is like invaluable check, something like that. It has to throw an error, right? So that and all, what error it has to show, or whether it is needed or not, or what happens to the fallout scenarios, and how we are going to notify the member. These are all like should have. Should have means it's very nice to have to tell them like what is the problem, but not required, right? Like not everything need to be like a proper notification. You can always say invalid check or invalid please rescan, like one of the notifications or error fallouts. That notification is fine, but you have to like very nice to have like very specifically you tell the member it is because of the bad handwriting the application is not able to, I mean the OCR process is not is unable to extract data, or it will be like telling you please scan properly, please scan properly. So whether you're going to like show the error like please scan properly, or whether you're going to show the error right invalid handwriting, or whether you're going to show the error like bad image. Because there can be coffee spills, there can be water spills, it can be a bad check, it can be a very old check, it can be crushed one. So there are like few scenarios, right? Whatever error we are going to show, those kind of fallout requirements, right? These are like should have. Should have means I'm going to show some error. Okay, because I'm unable to extract data from the paper check, but what kind of error I'm going to show, whether it's going to be a plain simple one, or I'm going to like very specific about those errors. So these are should have, nice to have, but it's not essential, right? Just throwing error, it also should be fine. And then could have means um, it is, I mean, it is not like a mandatory like should have or like must have. Could have means it's nice to have, but it is not at all like mandatory. So those kind of requirements. And wouldn't have means I'm not supposed to have all these. So the presence or absence of wouldn't haves have no bearing on the projects. For example, like I would say um, if there is a new security feature for like they're saying vulnerability software patching vulnerabilities, like this has like if there is going to be data patching every month or every weekend, there is going to be some kind of data patching, then there can be new security feature for your mobile application to do that update, software patching. But we cannot focus on security measures for the application. So IT team, right, they will have very different IT teams. So application development team is going to be different, and for this all this patching there will be a different team to do. And so for performance and all, we don't know how long it will take for the mobile application to download, how long it will take for the system to capture that paper check. We don't know, right? So all the security measures, performance and all, we cannot, like our team cannot take responsibility. It depends upon what coding language you are doing, what is the database, how many systems are interacting in the back end. So all that will take um, importance. So for our engineers, for our developers, is mostly about developing the application, the functionality, than the performance. Of course, performance is also needed. So if I'm having a check for 5 minutes and it's not able to capture, then that's an issue, right? If I'm showing a check and mobile has to capture that in 1 or 2 seconds, only then it is performing well, right? But I am not responsible for capturing that, like that performance or security measure, right? It is not our developer's responsibility. Our developer is only responsible for capturing the data, making sure it's being validated and it's being down. I mean, like the data is being like loaded into the database. Everything is the transaction is properly done. That our developers can do, but all the security performance. That's why these are called as non-functional requirements. So functional means something like from end to end, our developer can develop that and fix it and make sure that in production is going well. Whereas performance issues, security issues and all, it's called non-functional requirements because we have no scope for it. So this is like of the lowest priority. If something is like taking like 5 minutes to download, it's not my developer's problem. It is like the whole, like not only the application, also the coding language, right? Whatever using the tools we are using, right? For example, ETL process, whether it can be an ETL process or it can be Pega, depends upon like in the back end what's happening. That sometimes our developers have no control over also. So these are like wouldn't have requirements. So Okay, so you can take a particular case study and you can always show them like what is must have, should have, couldn't have, and wouldn't have. So you can always say this can be a requirement gathering technique, also requirement prioritization technique also. I have 10 requirements, which is must have in the next sprint. For example, it's an agile methodology. I have a 3-week sprint, and my next sprint, I have to start something. I have to start something, then what will I do? Okay, so I have 10 requirements. I have only 2 developers. 2 of them are on PTOs or on vacations to India. So what I do now? Now I have to make sure only like I can take only like four different user stories. Then those are must-haves. So this can be a prioritization technique as well, or you can be using as a requirement gathering taking also. So techniques also. So both can be done using this Moscow technique. Okay, so the next one is use case modeling. Use case modeling is a very important one. So I've taken an Oracle example of use case modeling. What is use case modeling? And in use cases, like what are the different templates we follow? And I'm going to show you one by one. So introduction to use case modeling. Use case modeling is nothing but we are defining the requirements using this UML diagrams. Okay, so you are using every feature or every functionality, you are telling it as an use case. Okay, there'll be a lot of use cases. Use case means, for example, member has to log in. Okay, so with valid member ID and password, that is a use case. Member, once they log in, what they do, they scan the check. Okay, and so the system has to validate whether it's a proper member ID or not. Okay, that is an use case. That validation is another use case. Next is extracting data from the paper. That is a use case. So everything will be a use case. And then transferring money from one account to another account. That is a use case. So in use case modeling, you will be, this is a combination of different use cases. And every use case, right, it will be in an UML diagram. So UML diagrams in the sense like I can show you. What is UML? This is mind map. Okay, so for example, do I have UMLs here? Yeah, use case diagram. So this is an UML diagram, right? So you'll have actors, customers like this. So one person, what is that one person doing? How it is like, what are the includes and excludes? So this diagram is called as an UML diagram. This is different from mind mapping or different from process flow diagrams and different from flow charts. Okay, so I will give you a brief idea of about in UML diagrams, right? What all should be there. So okay, so see here, use case diagrams or your use case diagrams are using by this UML diagram. So you'll have something called actors. Actors means like whoever is performing the event. Okay, so let me take what are the primary properties, use case properties. We need to have a scope. What is the scope? Okay, scope of that particular use case, and who's a stakeholder, someone who's like having an interest of this particular goal, who's a primary actor who will be using this use case to achieve the goal, and then like what is actually the performance of that functionality of that particular use case, and then what are the preconditions and postconditions. Precondition means like I told you, a member needs to be a existing member. Without username password he cannot log in. So precondition is he is an existing member. What if he is a new member? New member means cannot log in. New member means has to go and register. So if someone is a new member, you have to say member is not an existing member, please go and register. Or maybe member ID not found, please go and register. Like that you have to throw an error. Precondition is for logging into Bank of America's mobile application, he needs to be an existing member. Post condition is at the end of that particular scenario, you are giving at least a minimum guarantee that this is a success. So post condition is now the amount is being transferred to your account. So it is a successful transaction. So it's complete means it is a post condition. It's completed. That event is completed. Okay. So a trigger is what is the event or a sequence of triggers that initiate the use case. For example, there is a use case like for fallouts, right? I'm scanning and paper check, but it's a member ID is an invalid member ID. Invalid mean in the sense and the database is not able to map this member ID. Okay, so you are having a member ID. Okay, someone is giving you a check, and when you scan it, the Bank of America is not unable to. It's unable to pull the, for example, check bouncing. The amount is not there. or member ID is invalid. Okay, so one event has to trigger a sequence of events here. So it is going to say this amount is not found in the bank account, so bouncing the check. Okay, or this member ID is an invalid member ID. So some kind of one event is going to trigger a sequence of events, going to tell you like what you have to do in the future. So please pre-process the check, or please give a proper member ID, something like that. It has to throw an error. So these are the basic like properties of a use case. And using these use cases, right, you will be drawing the use case diagrams. And like for example like this, okay, use case diagrams, you will like for every use case, for example log ticket, in the sense you're calling the customer care, and you're logging some ticket. So the help desk, the customer care, right, they are asking your name and address. They are searching in the database. Once they found your name, they are going to log some tickets. For example, if you're working for TCS, you have some system issue, you're calling their TCS customer care, right? IT support. You're calling them, they're going to ask you your employee ID, and they're going to ask your mission details. Some of there's a sticker on your laptop, right? So you're going to tell that mission ID. So they're going to figure out, and then they're going to log in a ticket using your employee ID and further details. So that is a basic log ticket scenario. So in that log ticket scenario, there are two actors. One is you, and one is the help desk employee. What is the activity that is going on? Log ticket. And include is you're going to find the customer and log a ticket. So this is one use case. So like this, you like every functionality, right? You will be like creating the small use cases, and you will be like representing the requirements. Why? Because there are multiple ways to gather requirements. There are like 50 different ways. But if my business owner is like a very old business owner, okay, some 60 years old, cannot understand agile terminologies, cannot understand user stories, cannot understand anything like very complex require gathering techniques. So you're going to tell them through pictures. Okay, see for you're going to tell them through like small use cases and small pictures, so that that particular business owner is able to like quite understand. Okay, now I understand. There is a small picture here. This one is customer. This one is help desk. Both wants to log a ticket and find the customer. Oh yeah, now I understand. So this depends upon to whom you are showing, to whom, from whom you are gathering requirements. Understand, most business owners will be like old people. Why? Because they are in the organization for like many years, 20 years, 30 years. That's how they become business owners. So what is business owners? If I'm a business owner for Florida, I'm in that particular for Cigna. If I'm the business owner for Florida, okay, the whole Florida market, I'm having the scope, and I'm the business owner for Florida. I have to know in and out in Florida how many health plans are there, and how many Medicaid plans are there, how many Medicaid plans are there, and how many end users are there, whether it's 1.5 million users, 2.5 millions, what are the different health plans we have, what is covered, what is not covered, what is state law, everything I have to know. Only then I will become a business owner, right? So these business owners, right, will be like usually at least like 15 to 20 years of experience they'll have in their own like process flow. They will not have any technical knowledge, but they know in Florida what is happening, how much profit was there in last year, like how many new health plans we rolled out, how many we terminated, why we terminated in this particular health plan, what are the benefits we give. For example, one health plan is only for low income people, one health plan is only for like special needs people, one health plan is only for above 65 Medicare plan. So what is the difference between one plan to another? They know. They will always be in contact with the sales team, and they know what is happening in Florida. So for those people, usually they are old people, and you are an IT expert. You are going to tell them, you're going to convert that business requirement into your functional requirement, because your team is an IT team. Your developer wants everything technically, right? He don't want in simple words. He don't want any requirement in like small plain English. He want everything to be technically given to him. Only then it's easier for him to develop. So you have to gather that plain English, you have to convert that plain English into something like a functional requirement. That's why we are showing all these diagrams. That's why we are creating the small use cases and everything, like for every feature, right? We are showing some diagrams and all that, so that it's easier for the business to understand what we are doing, and it's easier for the developer also to understand what is a functionality. Because after developing the application, right, they may not even understand. They can give you sign off, but once you develop the application, it's already in UAT. That's when some of the business owners will come and tell you, this is not what I told you. No, 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 this is not what I told you. So you will be in a very like embarrassed position, because you are gathering requirements. Whatever you have told the developer is already, he has developed, the testing team has already tested, and we are already in UAT now. Now the business owner is saying that no, no, this is not the right requirement. So we want to make sure every use case here is in like small use cases, and also like we have some pictures, so it is very nice and fancy. Also the business owners can understand, okay, what is the use case. So you can use this use case modeling through these UML diagrams. Okay, this is one of the requirement gathering techniques. Then the next one is like 5 whys. These are not 5 Ws, these are 5 whys. Okay, so 5 whys in the sense, um let me take that 5 whys. So for every feature, right, you're going to ask like 5 whys. Why? Okay. So I'm going to, for example, let's take an example. Why did you get a parking ticket? Because I parked in a spot I wasn't mean to be. So the second question you're asking, why? I was running late, so I didn't go there like on time. That's why I parked in some spot. Okay. So why are you late? Because I got up late. Why? Because the alarm didn't go off. Okay. Then why? Because yesterday night I was late and I forgot to set the alarm, then I went to sleep. So these are the 5 different whys. 5 W question is different. Those are like what, where, why, when. That is different. These are like 5 why questions. Okay. So for every, you take every scenario, you're going to go to the root cause of that scenario. So before you say this 5 whys to the business owner, tell them this is a 5 why technique. Okay. And then why we are doing this, I'm going to do a root cause analysis. Why this problem is happening to you. And this is a technique. Okay. Tell them very clearly this is a technique, because randomly you go to schedule a call and you are asking them why for everything, they may get offended. So you have to like tell them, today I'm going to perform a root cause analysis technique. This is called as a 5 why technique. So I'm going to ask you like why this problem is happening. I will ask 5 times. So please don't be offended. And I just want to like get notes from you to just understand why there is a production issue, or why there is an incident that is happening very frequently. And we are going to do a root cause analysis. So by finding out the exact root cause of that particular production incident, or any incident that is like they're having a huge issue, right? That's why they're coming out for enhancement. By understanding that root cause, you're going to like give them proper solution. Okay, now, okay, the data can be moved like this, or the data flow can change, or we are going to interact with a different system, or we are going to change the process or the data itself. So that's why we are using the 5 why techniques. Okay, so I'm going to show you the 5 whys. See, for example, here, this scenario 1, and in scenario 2, they're going to ask. So one of the main pillars of this year strategy is to increase the sales. Why and how will this project achieve this goal? Okay, so they want to increase some sales. Now they're going to ask like why we are going to, what are the like in project, right? In this particular project, how are we going to implement that and achieve that goal? So we are offering click and collect to our customers. Okay, so click and collect in the sense, like for example, um, retail sales has been declining due to many reasons, including lower football and more pessimistic economic climate. Yet our online sales have continued to go from strength to strength. We offer we feel offering click and collect to our customers can harness the growth of our online business and help improve retail sales in the store. So why click and collect? Click and collect in the sense customers want the service to be available to order and pick up the item. So you can always order at home, and you need not go to the store. You can order at home and then you can collect, okay, pick up in the store. So why do you want to do that? Because 76% of online customers will like to use click and collect, because you save time. And I want something by, like, I'm in the office, by end of like the day I want something to collect. Okay, so I'm ordering on my phone, and then I can just go and park it in my parking lot. Okay, and then because there is always for pickups, right, there's always specific parking lot. You go there, you call them, or you give it like a specific number. They are going to come from the store and give it to you. That's how in the US there is a process like pickup. There'll be a pickup slot, parking slot. So you can go and leave your car there, and you can inform that I'm in slot 1 or 2 or 3, and they are going to come. Okay, someone from Target, someone from Walmart, someone from the any from Kohl's or any retail store, they're going to come, and they're going to give you all the products. You need not even get out of the car. They're going to give you your paid online, so you're going to leave to the home. So I'm saving like about like 30 minutes to 45 minutes. I'm not even getting out of the car, and it's very user friendly, and I'm able to achieve, right? So we are going to save time. So 76 of the online customers are going to use this click and collect services. Why have we fallen behind? Because the technology wasn't in place. So earlier we don't have that, but after COVID we are doing this pickup online procedures. Now we are able to handle it. And why it is important? It is important because the customer can order at their convenience. They can make sure they'll be able to pick up not only on that particular day. We have a timeline like 3 days, 4 days. Within that particular timeline they'll be able to pick up the product. So this is like 5 whys. So you can take any situation for you to gather requirements, and you're going to ask like 5 whys. For example, that processing paper check, if I'm going to put the same case for this 5 whys, you can ask like why the paper check needs to be processed through a mobile app, because the customer doesn't want to go to the bank. Why the customer doesn't want to go to the bank? Because going to the bank, it takes about um, 1 hour or 30 minutes. Why he cannot spend 30 minutes? Because because the banks are only open on the weekdays, not on the weekends. So for the weekdays, the customer is not available to go to the bank. He's already in the office. He cannot go to the bank. Why? Because he's already working and he doesn't have enough time. So these are the 5 whys. That's why we want a mobile application where the customer can process the paper check at home in his own convenience, and making sure everything is deposited in his account properly. These are the 5 whys for that particular use case. So when you are using the 5 whys, you always have to tell to the business owners that this is a technique, and I'm going to ask you 5 whys, and you have to like tell me the root cause of like why this is happening. Accordingly, we can develop a software product. Okay. Then the next one is 6 thinking hats. So when you're going to do some decision making on requirements, you're going to use this technique called 6 thinking hats. So 6 thinking hats is like I have, for example, these are the thinking hats. Okay. So I have this technique was developed by Edward in 1985, and we have 6 hats. So the blue hat is called as a conductor's hat, green hat is called a creative hat, red hat is called the hat for the heart. Yellow is called as optimist hat, and black is called the judge hat. So why we are using all these hats in the sense, like when you are developing a product, okay, and when you're looking at a problem, you need to have different ways of thinking. Okay, you cannot be just thinking like this is a user's issue. Okay, so what I am going to tell you is you have to take all the 6 perspectives, and then we are going to arrive to a solution for that problem. So what are the 6 way of seeing a thing, right? So first is when you or your team are in the blue hat mode, your focus on controlling your thinking and managing the decision making process. So you have an agenda, ask for the summary and reach conclusions. So conductor's hat in the sense like you are always thinking about decision making. You're asking for like, what is the agenda? Why are we having this conversation? And then what is the summary of this conversation? And we're going to come to conclusion. Whereas if it is going to be green hat, you're going to now creatively think. Now, okay, um, there are different range of ideas for this particular problem. And then like brainstorming, right? When you're in a creative hat, you're going to get ideas from different people, and you're going to like arrange these ideas, and you're going to like sum up the ideas, and you're going to like proceed forward. That is a creative hat. Then the next hat is like instincts, that feeling of, oh no, this will go wrong. No, I know about the people in Florida, they may not like that. I know in New York it is very sensitive, they don't like it. I know in California, like half the population are Mexicans, they may not like it. So you're just like, this is like instincts and feelings about like you want to launch a product in that particular state, and this is like from your own gut feeling or instinct, right? You'll be thinking like, no, 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 this will not work there. That state is different, people are very unique, they may not like it. So that is called as hat for the heart. So these represent feelings and instincts. Next is optimist hat. This yellow hat is nothing but more positive. So you're always thinking about the benefit and added value for, so we are doing this because the member is going to get benefited, we are doing this because time will be saved, we are doing this because we'll have more additional opportunities in that particular area. So this is like more optimist hat. Yellow is the most optimist hat. And the black hat, right, this is the judge hat. This is the most powerful hat because this is very critical. You're taking risk now. So you'll be like, okay, what happens wrong? You launch a product in a state, in Texas, something you're launching. And then what if it goes wrong? What will you do? What is the plan B? And then you're launching something in, like, for example, in New Jersey. If something goes wrong, now what will we do? So this is like mostly like assessing risk, and then you're being cautious, and you're always going to be judgment about any product that you're going to, like any software that you're going to design or any solution you're going to give to the business owner. So this is like you're going to be very critical about the decision. Okay. Then the factual hat. Factual hat is something like thinking about um, information that you've already collected, but also information that you already missed. Okay, so now you gathered some idea about that particular area or particular feature that you're talking about, but what is that something you have missed? For example, here some colors have cultural implications, so you may be picking a new hat in one of the areas. So in China, for example, green hat means unfaithful spouse. So please don't use that. So that maybe in culture also you have to be very careful on which country, right? You're going to go to China and you're implementing some software. During requirement gathering, you have to be very careful what color represents what, because culturally it defines something. Okay. So factual hat is something like you represent information gathering. You have some knowledge about that product, but you don't have enough. Okay, so some information may be missing. So you're going to be now deciding on, okay, where can I get the remaining information? Whether I have to do more document analysis, where I have to get the documents from the government, whether I have to get a document from the compliance team, whether I have to get a document from sales team. So because you can define any product, okay, but unless the sales team is like comfortable selling it, okay, remember these is all MNCs. Finally, we have to like make sure everybody is benefited. Okay, anybody, it can be CTS or TCS, anybody. What is the ideal goal for them? Annual revenue. Okay, like last year they have 4 billion revenue. This year they're going to have at least 4.5 billion revenue. I'm telling you an example. So we have to, you can develop any AI product, you can develop any electrical car, everything you can develop. Okay, an idea can become a great product unless the customers or the sales team is able to give positive feedback on that. Sales team will tell you, okay, this is a very good product, we are getting enough customers for this product. It can be a health insurance product, it can be any kind of this banking mobile product, or it can be like, for example, like a social media product, it can be a website developing product, it can be any product, e-commerce product, anything you can launch. Unless you're not, the sales team is not comfortable in selling it, Okay, the very first month they will give you feedback. Okay, this is not going to be a profit. So you have to do some enhancements in this project because people are rejecting it for so and so reasons. Okay, so for that kind of situations, you have information, but I need an additional information. That is called as a factual hat. That is called the white hat. So when you're going to take critical decisions for the team, when you are going to be becoming a lead BA, then you will be involved in all these decision making skills. They will come and ask you, like for example, practical, I can give you a scenario. So in our organization, right, we were doing some automation in a particular scanning process, and I don't want to tell you the what is the form, but we are doing a scanning process. We are making sure all the paper documents are loaded into the database and all that, but we don't have, the member is not filling the paper form and returning to us. Okay, we are sending the paper forms, but we don't get enough feedback from the member. So we cannot be like calling them again and again, right? Member has privacy, member has preference, like don't call me, don't text me. And so what we can do is, member, we have to send this form to the member, and member has to fill this form and send it back. But the return ratio from how many people are sending back this to our organization, right? It is very, very less. It's about like only 10%. So our leadership team was like, why members are not filling this and sending it back? It is very crucial for us to have that feedback because we want to improve the product and we want to know the ground reality, why the members are not filling the form. So they came to us, to IT team, then saying, they're asking like, can you tell us like what are the different ways we can approach the member? And so we were in the high level of like how that product can be from paper, how we can make sure that they fill this. So we went for that reward, $100 reward or $50 reward, $25 gift card, something like that. So because only then people will be like, okay, I'm going to get $25, let me fill this survey form. I'm going to take a $50, let me fill this. That's a boosting experience, right, for the customer. Nobody is going to fill a form. Just like that, if someone gives you a survey form, nobody is going to fill it. But if I'm going to reward you with something, maybe a $10 card, $25 Amazon card, or maybe $100 physical form completion. Okay, for you complete all your physical forms yearly, you complete all your routine checkup, you check your BP, you check your diabetes, you check your cholesterol, everything is done. You do all your routine vaccination. Now you get your $100 card. Then people are going to do that, and we are going to have enough information about the member in our database because we know whether this person has diabetes, we know whether this person has cholesterol, we know whether this person has a risk of heart disease. Accordingly, we can change the premium next year. So they're getting your feedback because they want members details in the database so that we can improve or we can change your health plan accordingly next year. Okay, that's why we're getting feedback from the member. The member will not know this, member will do the survey and give it to you. So but like if a lot of people are not doing this survey, then we are going to give these rewards or gifts or something like that, right? So they come to us. So our team, I was the lead, so we were able to incorporate all these rewards or gifts programs. When member enrolls into a particular insurance, we give them rewards. When member fills the form, we give them rewards. When member completes their annual check, we give them rewards. So now like for the next year, we were able to see there was like about 50% increase, 45 to 50% increase in filling that survey. So you have to like think, okay, what will be the negatives, what will be the positive? And sometimes business owners will come and ask you for guidance. So you have to like put all these hats and think what is the positives, what are the negatives, and accordingly you can provide them solutions. Okay. So the last one is yeah, we have two more. So the next one is mind mapping. Mind mapping is nothing but we have one idea, and that will be a central theme, and then from that, right, other ideas will be radiating. So I will show you the mind mapping diagrams. So I have got a document from this university. So this is the mind map diagram. Okay, so main idea will be there. And then surrounding that main idea, you're going to ask, why are we going to do this? Who is going to perform this feature? What is that feature? Where are we going to implement this? When are we going to do this? And how are we going to do this? Okay, this is called as mind. Sorry about that. Okay. So we have one main idea. Then surrounding that idea, right? You're going to implement all this why, who, what, where, when, and how. Okay. So okay. So for example, like I have already told you. Okay. So for example, like if there is an insurance company, they want to meet some goal. What is the goal? They want that survey to be completed. They want more people, okay, more members to complete that particular survey. That's your goal. Now what are we going to do? We are going to be like taking action. So we can give them rewards. Okay, we can make sure that they complete. If they complete the survey, they're going to get rewards, or they're going to like get some benefit, right? We are going to, maybe a case manager, maybe a nurse is going to call them and give provide additional so for example, I have diabetes, I have hypertension in my survey. Now, like a nurse or someone from the insurance company, from the case management department, they're going to call the patient and they're going to say that, okay, you have something, both diabetes and hypertension. You have the risk of heart diseases. So you have to make sure you follow all this diet or something and make sure you reduce your cholesterol. You make sure your diabetes is on control. So all that action we can take. So you get a survey from them, and so by you're giving them rewards, you're making sure that they complete the survey. But what happens after that? After that, someone from case management is going to call the member and make sure like we give them advice, right, regarding the nutrition and how to exercise. You give them a plan. Why the insurance is doing all that? Because we don't want the member to get admitted in the hospital. If the member is getting admitted into the hospital, the insurance has to pay. So in order to prevent that, in order to lower the cost of all the insurance, we are giving them that preventive measure, okay, preventive care for the member. So this is like for one particular action, one particular main idea. What are the surrounding ideas we have? This is called as mind mapping. So one main idea surrounded by like how different ideas. Okay, so how are we going to benefit from using mind mapping? Mind mapping is nothing but they're going to give like a high level picture of our software. So if we are going to implement this particular idea, what will happen, what are the pros, what are the cons, and then how are we going to make sure this is happening, and how are we going to be like 100% effective in this idea. Otherwise, change the idea. If this idea is not working, if you don't have good benefits, then change the main idea itself. That's the benefit of mind mapping. Then the last one is requirement analysis. So this is very, very, very important. You can gather requirements by 100 different ways, but you need to know to analyze requirements. So elicitation means gathering the requirements. The other name for requirement gathering is called as elucidation. Okay, you can say requirement gathering techniques or elucidation techniques. Okay, so you gather all the requirements by using all these analysis techniques, and then you are going to now we are going to make sure what are the requirements that are incomplete, what are unclear. Now what are the like mandatory requirements, essential requirements that we have to complete for this particular project. And then from there you're going to make sure that you create, for example, if it's waterfall, you can create BRDs, you can create use cases, or if it's agile methodology, then you create user stories and then process specifications. Okay. So first gathering the requirements. The second step is analyzing the requirements. Now you like separate now what are functional requirements, non-functional requirements. You separate that now. Then the third one is you're going to now whether do you want to create use cases or you want to create user stories. Okay. So that you are doing, that is called as requirements modeling. And finally you are going to review all the requirements with your team. Okay, with your team in the sense scrum team, or like developers, testers, your product owner, scrum master. You're going to review the requirements with them, and only then you're going to make sure, okay, these are the proper requirements. Now my developer can start developing if the project is funded enough. Because after you gather the requirements, so there is a process, right? How you will be like, for example, how you do budgeting. This is very crucial for BA to understand in real, right? In real life, something called budgeting will be there. So you gather all the requirements. Okay, high level basic, you gather the requirements. Then you give something called LOE. LOE means level of effort. Okay. So for this project, it is going to take some 500K. $500K. Okay, so $500K. So that'll be that'll be close to some I mean, like into eight, say, 4 crores or something, okay, in Indian rupees. So $500K. This is my budget, and whether you guys have funding for this, because you cannot give a very like a vague LOE, and once you define the requirements, the developer is going to tell that it's going to take 3 sprints. It's going to take 4 months for do the development. It may be taking like 2 months for just doing the testing, because you have this application needs to interact or integrate with multiple different applications. I need to do proper end-to-end testing. This will take at least 15 days of UAT testing. So you may gather requirements and give a very high level LOE, okay, budgeting you can give, but after you define the requirements, then you have properly defined all the requirements, right? That's when you will know actually what is the effort for this particular work, how much it will take, how many developers is needed, how many testers is needed, and how long this will be needed, when can we go live with this project. So once you have defined all the requirements, you have to talk with your product owner and then scrum master, and they will be doing some calculations. But you can always give your level of effort. So okay, for BA this will take for at least 2 sprints. For developer will say this will take at least 2 sprints. Testing team also, they will give their own level of effort. Finally, calculating everything, we are going to give a budget to the business owners. Seeing the budget, they may be like, okay, we are fine, this is a mandate from the state, we have to do this, approve the budget. Or they may be like, we don't have enough budget, now what we do. Only then you're going to go to your project manager. Okay, and then your project manager will take a decision whether the LOE has to be reduced, or it has to be like, no, we cannot do this without approval. Some projects, just by seeing the budget, they'll run away. They'll be like, no, we cannot do this. This is like huge. Right? Always like software development is going to be very, very expensive. We need to have on-site resources, offshore resources. We're going to coordinate with them. So it will take long time to complete any, like for example, very big projects. It's going to take at least 4 months or 5 months for completing the whole full project, right? It's like building a house. So this budgeting also, as a BA, you have to know in the interview. If they ask you, you have to say that yes, I have a little bit knowledge about budgeting. So once we gather all the requirements and defined all my user stories, I will give my level of effort for every user story. The developer will also give, testing team will give, and we will work with the product owner and the scrum master, and we'll come up with a budget. Then that will go for project manager's review. Once the project manager is like, okay, yeah, this is a good budget, then we are going to submit to the business owners. If the business owner is fine with the budget, only then we are going to start the development. If they are not fine, we are going to drop. Okay, so this is called as budgeting. Very, very important practical. Practically, without this, you cannot submit your timesheet, right? So you need to know. Next is yeah, and also with the resume. So when theoretically now you know all your techniques. Okay, so now how am I going to add it in my resume? So I see all your resumes are very blank in one page. So many people are sending me resume. It's not at all impressive. Like where you, it just shows like where you, give me a second. So everybody is giving your, where did you study your bachelor's, your master's, and your experience and all that. Especially if you are a beginner and you don't have any experience in BA, you have to add case studies in your resume. Okay, you're very new to BA. Add 1 or 2 case studies in whatever domain like you like. Okay, so you add that case study, and then you need to add at least in one page, right? You take one case study and you need to tell them that you have completed all these analysis. I have done SWOT analysis, most analysis, maybe 1 or 2 analysis, and you add the diagrams that you've created. Okay, some BPBN diagram, or maybe this even SWOT analysis, there is a diagram, right, that you can do, or maybe use case modeling diagram that you have to add in your resume. Nobody is adding. All the resumes that I have seen is like plain, like one single page, and you're just giving your like your basic information, right? Like no, with that, I'm sure the resume will not get picked up. You have to tell them that you are a good BA, even though you don't have an experience. you are trying to become a BA and you've shown all your effort to become a BA. Okay, so how will you tell them? By adding case studies. So you need to add, especially if you don't have any experience as a BA, you don't have any domain skills, or you're starting from scratch. You have to add 1 or 2 case studies, and then make sure you add all your diagrams and your notes, and then this is what I did see in my mind mapping. This is a particular use case. For that, I have drawn my flow charts. This is the flow chart. And then this is the mind mapping diagram that I have drawn. Like this, you have to add information. Okay, don't like add more than 1 or 2 pages. So your resume can be the first page, and after that, you can add maybe 1 or 2 pages. You need to add that information. That will really help the interviewer, like, okay, this person is really really interested, this person has put in some effort, even though this person has zero experience, he's still, willing to learn and trying to become a BA. So make sure you add all these skills in your resume, okay, all these topics, and then some use case studies in your resume. Okay, so anybody has any other questions till now?
Hello,
Pradipha, what
Pradeepa.
is?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
sorry. You can continue.
yeah, Pradipha, can I know about Lean Six Sigma tool? Like one of the recruiter asked, as a BA, you are aware of worked on Lean Six Sigma tool. Is there any particular tool?
Yeah, I have completed my Lean Six Sigma certification. So they want you to get certified, or they want to know only the tools?
Like they have been asked, are you experienced on Lean Six Sigma
Lean
tool?
Six Sigma, right? Tools, right? Okay, let me take that. You can complete that certification, Arvind, right? I'm sorry.
Yes, yes, yeah.
Yeah. So it's easy only. It's not very difficult.
Pradeepa, is this required in healthcare also? Because there was one other healthcare person's recruiter. She was asking me, do you have this Six Sigma certification?
The Lean Six Sigma. It can be used in any industry, not only in healthcare. So Six Sigma is nothing but it's like a technique for improving the quality of your work, right? For example, if I have a food industry, okay, a massive food industry, and I'm going to do packaging of the food, okay, frozen, let's say frozen samosas. I'm going to do frozen samosas mass production. It's very different from doing at in a hotel, or very different from doing at home, right? So what are the standard techniques, quality techniques that I'm going to use in order to make sure there is zero error? Okay, so that every box looks same, every packaging looks same, and then we don't have any kind of problems or errors in packaging, also quality, also like everything, like every samosa has to be the same, right? In every package it must be the same. So this is like a Japanese technique, just for to improve the quality, when especially for production companies, like when a Tesla is developed. Okay, so how are we going to check? How are we going to make sure like every car is going to be the same? How are we going to make sure every performance of everything is going to be the same, right? So, but you can also use for software development. Okay, so I'm going to take a tool. Give me a second. Okay, let me share my screen now. Okay, give me a second.
Hello,
So,
Pradeepa.
yeah,
Uh, I'm sorry. Can we connect after the lecture? I wanted to have a conversation with you.
Sushant, right? Healthcare domain.
No, Siddharth. Yeah, yeah,
Siddharth,
Siddharth.
yeah, Siddharth. Yeah, so Siddharth, like I have sprint planning meeting at 9, so I may not be able to connect. So can I
Okay.
connect maybe tomorrow?
Yeah, yeah, sure. No problem.
So I have to log in at 9. Sorry about that.
No, no issues.
Yeah, so you can maybe say I can connect tomorrow if that's okay with you.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Okay. So these are some of the Six Sigma tools, Aravind. So if you want, I can take a class, and I can also tell you how to like clear the certification. Yeah. We have
Yeah,
Cyborg, and then we have different tools. So this will take at least 1 or 2 classes, but I can take maybe a 30-minute session at the end of this training.
okay. So as we discussed in requirement gathering and also root cause analysis, so these also come under for quality purpose kind thing, right? So this also come under Six Sigma kind thing. Example.
Yeah, so difference between requirement gathering and Six Sigma. Lean Six Sigma is mostly like making sure you have good quality. Also,
Right.
you have like, yeah, you have to achieve quality. Any product you develop, right? Why iPhone is very successful? Because of the quality, right? So how to achieve that quality in any product that you develop?
So
That is where we are.
techniques, yeah, techniques.
Hmm. We focus more on, like, for requirement gathering, other techniques, right? We focus on the overall functionality, but Lean Six Sigma is especially to improve the quality. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, does anybody have any other questions?
Yeah, Pradeepa, how can I get in touch with you apart from this Zoom class for any few doubts regarding the resume preparing and all, and other doubts as well?
Yeah, there is do you have that my email ID? I can
No, I don't have.
give me a second.
Could
I
you
can
please
put it.
share in this chat box?
Yeah, give me a second. Are you able to see now in the chat?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you,
you
Pradeep.
can email me, and then when I get time, I can respond. Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
Hi, Pradeepa.
Yeah,
This is
hi.
Shweta. So I wanted to know, apart from these concepts
Mhm.
relating to business analysis, and of course the projects or the case studies as you mentioned, do we also need to like learn SQL like in detail or Tableau in detail? Uh, I mean, the things that I've mentioned on my resume is Microsoft Excel, which is I know very basic, but that is like I mean, I know that, but apart from that, are there anything? Is there anything that I
Yeah,
need to really?
SQL, I think is very important, especially if you're trying to get into Amazon or different like product based, right? SQL is very, very important. Tableau
Okay.
for reporting you can learn. Just learning these two itself will take a lot of time, Shweta. Since you're from non-IT background, I won't um, ask you to learn more tools right now. Okay, so even with
Hmm.
SQL, right, like make sure
Hmm.
you know like the basics. Also, you know how to do different types of query. If they ask you to write some queries, right, to different scenarios, you must be able to write, right? So even in SQL it can be very difficult for you to crack. That's what I'm saying.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So, but the basics of SQL, not like going too much into detail about.
Yeah, you should know the basics, and then once you catch the basics, right, you can go advanced level. But especially you're from finance background, it will be very tough for you to learn the basics too. Do you know already?
No, no, I don't know. That's why, like, if I have to start from scratch, like,
Mhm.
I mean, and also like keeping in mind that I would have to work a lot on the business analysis concepts, the core concepts, right? So then basics, knowing the basics of SQL should be the first step, right? Like, I mean,
Yeah, so learn all the business analysis concepts and also domain and everything, and then you can go for SQL and Tableau.
correct, correct.
Yeah.
And also like while answering any question, right, asked in the interview. So basically, suppose if it is a theoretical question, I can always like attach any normal case study, and it need not be a case study that I have mentioned in my resume or any project that I've mentioned that I've done in my resume. Is that correct? Like
If
just
you are able to like correlate and create, you're, let's say you are adding a project in your resume, if you're able to create mind maps or any kind of diagrams for some that project, that will be good. That's what we want to see. But if you are unable to do that, then you can go for generic ones. But if you are able to create all these documents for the project that you have listed in your resume, that is going to be nice. Yeah.
oh, got it.
Yeah. So I think one more person.
Hel- Hello, ma'am.
Yeah. Hi.
Ma'am, my name is Shakni Kaduk. I'm from Kolkata, West Bengal. And good afternoon, ma'am. Basically, right now I am pursuing MBA for business analytics. So I have a question, ma'am. That is, I want to learn Scrum Master. So I just want to know your advice about it.
Scrum Master, but you've done your MBA in business analysis?
I am doing. I am in
You're
first
doing.
year right now.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
Right.
ma'am.
Okay. Yeah. So Sagnik, right? Sagnik.
Yes.
So the problem is Scrum Master, there will be very few jobs happening. So for example, in an IT team, right, you have like
Mhm.
five BAs, or maybe five developers and five QA people. There'll be only one Scrum Master for every Scrum team.
Okay.
So the requirement, like the jobs available in the market for Scrum Master, right, it will be very less compared to BAs.
Okay.
But
Compared
you
to
can,
BA.
yeah, you can take both options. Okay, you can learn both.
Okay.
Okay, BA also you
Yes.
can learn all the concepts, and also Scrum Master also if you want to do, you can. But Scrum Master you have to do certifications, invest in all the certifications, right? Like CSM, PSI, those
Yes.
certifications you have to do that they can be very expensive. So, but the job opportunities, right?
Mm.
Scrum Master is going to be very less. Like I told you, the ratio. Every Scrum team, there'll
Mm.
be only one Scrum Master.
Okay, I see. But I got some curiosity for after learning something, after observing some videos from YouTube. So I got some curiosity about it. That's why I'm just asking you for some advice. Thank
Yeah.
you, ma'am.
So, but you can do. So
And
we never know,
yes,
right? If there is a Scrum Master opening, if you're able to crack the
yes.
interview, then it's good. Yeah. We have
Okay,
to
ma'am.
get the
Okay.
job. That's our ideal. What's our end goal is everyone has to get the job and enter into the industry so that then you can change
Yes.
your goals and everything once you have familiarity with the situation and environment inside the IT teams. But
Yes.
from my
Hmm.
opinion, like Scrum Master jobs will be very less compared to business BA
BA.
jobs. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. And
Thank you.
ma'am, one more thing. I want to say you thank you again for BRD and other documentation. You have made the videos on it, and recently I was going through on it day by day and found that you have uploaded these videos, and then I asked you for the Zoom meeting link, and I am attempting this video, and this is really value added video. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. I hope this helps, right? Because, like I
Yes.
said, the end goal is everyone has to get a job. If everybody in
Yes.
this call gets a job, then that I achieved my goal. Then, yeah.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank
Thank you.
you. So, yes, Pratipa and other people, I'm sorry, like I have to drop because I have to make sure my kids goes to school. I have just 1 hour
Okay,
before I log in. So sorry about that. Maybe
fine.
can we
So we
discuss
do
this on
have the
Monday? Yeah.
session tomorrow, right,
Not tomorrow,
Pradeepa?
on Monday.
Monday. Okay,
Monday.
fine
Okay.
then. We can
We'll
drop me
catch
a
up.
mail, right? Maybe you
Yeah,
can
email. You can drop
respond.
an email.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you so
Okay. Okay.
much.
Thank you everyone
Uh,
joining. Happy weekend. Bye.
Thank you, Pratibha. Just last minute, Abhishek.
Mhm.
I have dropped you an email. If possible, is it possible for you to connect on weekends?
Yeah, sure. I can call you
Anytime.
tomorrow. So I have like a long day today. I have so many meetings today. So maybe tomorrow I can catch up.
Okay, I'll drop you an email with my contact. Please do let me know.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Thank you.
Mhm. Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.